Hey everyone, what is going on? Welcome back to another video. Today we're talking all about BRIX levels in your plants. So today, after a live Q&A session that I did recently, you can go check that out. Maybe I'll link it down below or up in the corner for you. It was a slightly longer live one, but in that discussion, the topic of BRICS levels was brought up, and I thought, why not have a little bit of a deep dive into it myself, do a little bit of reading in preparation for this video, and basically explain to you exactly what I think BRICS levels are, how they're used, where they came from, and how we can best make use of this information in the garden specifically, I guess. So, first things first, what are BRICS levels, or what is meant by BRICS levels? And essentially, it was established by a man called Adolf BRIX, who was a German scientist, or chemist, I should say. And he discovered or created this scale of measuring the sugar content as a liquid in plants. So, for example, I think I've got the measurement here. 1 degree of BRICS equals 1 gram of sugar in 100 grams of solution. So, if you had 100 grams of whatever the solution is, it would be 1 gram of sugar within that solution equals 1 degree of BRICS, or 1%. And it goes up in that percentage. So, you might have 30 grams of sugar in a 100 gram solution, which means it's 30% or 30 degree BRICS. So, essentially, what these BRICS levels indicate is a level of ripeness of your produce. And interestingly enough, there's more research being done on the nutrient density as well, whether or not that's entirely related or not. But essentially, the BRICS levels can give you an indication as to what crop is going to be better for you, both in nutrition, in its ripeness, in its genetic capabilities, and ability to withstand different climates and environments. It's used a lot in winemaking and alcohol, so fermentation. Obviously, fermentation is based around sugars a lot of the time, so it's important to understand the potential that each grape crop might have in terms of fermentation and turning into wine. So measuring the BRICS levels can be exceptionally useful. Now, in terms of in the garden, when we're using it, it's a really good idea or way of determining when something is ripe or ready for the picking, and also what produce works better at different times of year. So you might be measuring all throughout the year and trying to grow crops all year round, and you'll get an indication as to what is better. I also think this ties in, and I did mention this in the Q&A. I still can't find enough adequate information to give you a full explanation, but I think it ties into the signals that the plant sends off to the insects and to everything around it, other plants, that indicate if it's a higher BRICS level, a higher sugar content, then it's less likely to be attacked by bugs. Now, I'm testing this theory. I'm trying to come up with some hard evidence to discuss this. But essentially, if you've got any information, please let me know. But it ties into how healthy a crop is. So if a higher BRICS level indicates generally more sweetness, or higher levels of fermentable sugars, a lower BRICS level or percentage might indicate stress or underripe or some overripe even in these suggestions, because once it goes overripe, there's too much sugar and the concentration gets blown all out of proportion and things like this. So um, essentially, we're looking at this scale of low to high BRICS levels and what that might indicate in terms of ripeness. Now, it's important to consider when measuring these things, because there's quite a few devices and ways of measuring BRICS levels. I will link down below to one that I've just purchased to start measuring the BRICS levels of my chilies in the chili side-by-side experiment. I'll link that down below. It is a refraction-based device, so it uses light refraction to basically see how dense the solution is. although it's more just all dissolved solids, so it's not just necessarily sugar. So you've got to be careful with your indication as to how much is actually in there. The other thing is affected by temperature, so calibrating against the actual temperature and making sure you're calibrated to each different crop and when you're measuring and things like this in the environment. I'm yet to dive into that practically with the device, but these are considerations that I have found you certainly need to be aware of. But mostly, yeah, we're looking for a nice, easy device to check the quality of our produce, check how ripe it is, check the sugar levels, check whether it's optimal for our yield or optimal for our crop each year round. And in agriculture broadly, BRIX levels are starting to be integrated more broadly to be able to understand when to harvest and when to make the most of your fermenting various different produce like grapes and things like this for wines and all sorts of things. So this is just a little brief introduction to BRICS levels, and I'm going to break it down a little bit further maybe in future videos. But for now, this is where my understanding is, and I think that it's something that we should all start to be more aware of and listen out for. But if you want to, go hit the link, grab one of these little devices, and start testing your produce for its BRICS level and starting to get an understanding as to how the BRICS level changes over time, changes throughout the cycle of the crop, and changes based on environmental or pest factors and things like this. So certainly something that I'm going to be doing, and I highly recommend you do the same. So if this is something that interests you, let me know in the comments below. Leave me some suggestions, leave me some questions, and let's start generating some more discussion on BRICS levels. So thank you very much for watching. I know it's a short and sweet one, but we'll see you again really soon.